Today we are making salted caramel Timbits from Tim Hortons. Now, as you know, when you go through any kind of a drive-through or you get any kind of fast food, you're going to get tons and tons of sugar, simple carbohydrates, and all of the things that are not good for us. So what I've done is recreated the Tim Hortons Timbits, the salted caramel, to be high in protein, high in fiber, and super, super yummy. So let's get started. Okay, to make our salted caramel Timbits, we are going to take a bit of a shortcut. So what I have used is the butterscotch sugar-free Jello pack, and that's going to give us a little bit of our caramel flavor plus a little bit of actual caramel flavoring. So we've got 1 pack of the sugar-free Jello here. Then we've got a 1/4 cup of unflavored protein powder. We have 1/8 cup of coconut flour, 1/8 cup of flaxseed that's been milled, and we have a 1/4 cup of unflavored Greek yogurt. We have 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and we have 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And that's it, that's all we're gonna need. So let's get started mixing everything up together. So we're gonna be using, to make our little Timbits, we're gonna be using our baby cakes maker, which I absolutely love. It makes the perfect size sleever treats for you, for your grandkids, or for your kids. And when I do up the baby cakes, I do not preheat it because it gets pretty hot when you're starting to fill it. So just leave it alone, let it be at room temperature while you mix all your ingredients. So we're gonna start here with our dry ingredients, and we're just tossing in our sugar-free Jello, our protein powder, our coconut flour, our flaxseed, and we're going to mix that all together and add in our baking soda. There we go, get that all out. And then once that's mixed up really nice and even, then we're going to add our wet ingredients. So I like to make a little kind of a hole in the bottom, and then I'm going to put in my Greek yogurt. All of it out of the dish here. And now pour in my coconut. And then I'm going to add in 1 teaspoonful of my caramel flavoring. And now we're going to mix this all together so that it's a nice consistency, almost the consistency of a cookie dough when it's all done. And I forgot to mention that you're going to need about 2 tablespoons of water, and it is in the recipe below. So we get that all in there, and look at this, it's turning into perfect sort of little dough here. And we'll get that all mixed so it's nice and even and nice and moist all the way through. So now that our dough is all ready and it's nice and even all the way through, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my baby cakes and get it heating. And I'm going to spray it really, really well with a coconut spray. Try not to use a canola oil. Try to use a real coconut spray if you can get a hold of it. And make sure your baby cakes is sprayed really well. And then I use one of these little mini ice cream scoopers. It's so perfect for being able to get your dough into your baby cake. Okay, so now that this is heating and sprayed, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to scoop it out. Make sure you don't have too much in your scooper, so I always run it along the side like this so that you have the perfect amount to go into each little hole. We're just going to go along here, fill all of these. Okay, and then we're just going to close our lid, and we'll cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes, so just keep an eye on it. The little green light will come on when it's ready. We'll open them up, and look at that, they're perfectly done. We're just going to use our little tongs here and pull them out one at a time and let them cool off a little bit. Now if you noticed you overfilled them, that's okay. The little sides will pop right off, but we've done them perfectly, so they're... Make sure you check the description below because we're going to put a link to the glaze that we're using. Now in this case we're going to make the glaze just like the other recipe, but we're going to add a little bit of salt to it so that we have our salted caramel glaze to go on top. So we'll show you that next. Make sure you check the description below for our glaze recipe. Now all I'm doing is taking 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm literally dumping it right into our glaze here. And then I'm gonna whisk that just so it's mixed up nice. And that's it. We're gonna go ahead and glaze our caramel Timbits. So one thing with the cake pops is you'll notice right along here, along the edge, anything that seeps out while it's cooking will have a little extra piece on the side. Just go ahead and break those off. Roll your Timbit in your glaze so it's nice and covered all the way, and then shake it off so that you don't have an excess amount of glaze on there. And then you're just gonna put it on your cooling rack, and I've sprayed my cooling rack with coconut oil so that it doesn't stick, so your glaze comes off nice and clean afterwards. So go right ahead and do each one of your little Timbits one at a time. Make sure you get the glaze all over it. And set them there. And it's gonna take about 15 minutes to about half an hour for your glaze to fully set. Okay, so now that we've let our Timbits set a little bit, look at this. That looks absolutely amazing. Can you believe that these are full of protein, full of fiber, full of good omega-3 fatty acids? They're about half the calories of an actual Timbit, so talk about a real SLIMbit. Now let's actually take a taste and see how good it is. If you like this recipe, please like it, comment below. I would love to see your versions of it. You can also subscribe to make sure you get all of our really cool sleeve retreat recipes. Oh my goodness, this is so good. This is better than Tim's. Thanks, guys.